as always, we start the show this way on a Friday.
Come on, man. Go for it, dude.
It's Friday! Friday!
It is indeed. It's stacked, packed, and racked. All the planes are in, and they're trying to get onto the tarmac and get the weekend started. John here, you there. We're a full show. We get to find out about a cool relationship between a club in the Bundesliga and a club here in the U.S. coming up just around the corner. We get to try and find out what's going on this weekend in Major League Soccer. Obviously, Atlanta United's going on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about all your juice boxes, 10 o'clock. Marty Jelleme, the head coach of Atlanta United's unified team, is going to drop by. They have their season opener after Atlanta United and Nashville. So your public service announcement, don't leave after the match is over. Go and support the unified team. You can actually change your seats and go and sit in the 100 section and hang out with the unifieds. So that is the rundown today. We might have to end a little early because of the media match and me having to be from Office HD and sprinting all the way up to the Children's Health Care of Atlanta training ground because you never know what's going to happen. That's just how this goes. And so without further ado, I wish I had like a drum roll or something, but I don't have a drum roll ready, and then I'd have to jack up the volume. It's time to talk about something really, really cool between KSA and SBV Greuther Furth in the Bundesliga. So we bring in Kareem Tamimi of KSA. We bring in Timo Schieler of Greuther Furth. I'm going to fix the shot. There we go. So, gentlemen, hi and welcome on a Friday. The chaos has already started.
Hi, thanks for having us.
All right, so this is a really cool relationship, and I'm going to start with Timo, considering you have been the one who has traveled the farthest here. How did this relationship with Greuther Furth and KSA come to be? What was the first conversations like?
Well, it started with a mutual passion for using football more than just a game, you know. As a way to teach values and open doors for young people playing soccer. And when we were introduced to Kalonji Soccer Academy, it was immediately clear that they are doing something real special over here in Atlanta because they are working, developing not only young players, but young people, you know, and giving them discipline, respect, and ambition. And that aligns perfectly with our club philosophy in Germany of the Spielverein in Greuther.
So, Kareem, how far back are we talking? How far back do we know that these conversations started to get to this point to where we are with Greuther Furth and KSA?
It's been really recent, you know. It's been about a few months. I've been also nominated as one of the director of the program here in Georgia. So yeah, it's pretty recent.
And so, what was the first date like? What were those first conversations like? Was it long over? Was it over Zoom? Was it conversations? Was it meals, breaking bread? What was the first date like with you two?
So to be honest, Coach Bruno, the owner of KSA, he's the one who was in relation with Mr. Lynch, right? So Mr. Lynch, he was working with Furth, and he was taking care of one of the KSA player that was in Germany, Fraser, his name. And Fraser one day sent to Mr. Lynch, if you need anything in Atlanta, I know a great club there. And the coincidence was that Furth and Mr. Lynch were working with Hoffman. So Hoffman is the company that is here in Atlanta, and they made the link. Mr. Robin came about 2 months ago. He saw how we were working, how we were educating the kids, the intensity of practice. KSA is really close to the European style, the European mentality that we really trying to inculcate here in American soccer. And then after that, it was really natural to link our passion and really the ambition to create a path for the players from America to Europe.
Timo Schieler from SBVGG Greuther Furth and Kareem Tamimi from KSA hanging out with us here, batting leadoff on the morning show. So, Timo, when you came across this relationship with KSA to begin with, what has it been like to see that that the relationship can grow over the ocean, that they can be this mutual thing where, okay, you have your philosophy, we have ours, it meshes. What's it like to see that kind of a relationship and that kind of kindred spirit?
Well, as Kareem said, it didn't require a long discussion in our club when we started thinking about that, because from the first interaction, it felt right, and it felt it was the right thing to do. And we saw the heart and the integrity behind KSA's work, and we knew that was the kind of partner we searched for and we wanted. And also thanks to the support of Hofmann, which is our main sponsor in Germany. We have their name on our jerseys, and they are a valued sponsor even in the United States, sitting here in Atlanta as well. And so that was the reason we were able to move forward very quickly, and of course with a real commitment to the topic, which is very important for both of us.
You mentioned commitment, and you mentioned philosophy and personality and all of that. When the club, I know, has a grand vision of how they would like these things to be, how these relationships can come about and grow and continue to grow the game. In a perfect world, what is Greuther Furth looking for as it continues to grow its footprints and grow the game? What is the club looking forward to the most in these relationships?
Well, we are a 120-year-old club founded in 1903 and playing in the German Bundesliga. We care about the people, and we didn't come over with the idea to know it better because we are a German professional soccer club, and soccer has a long tradition in Germany. We're here to learn from Atlanta, from KSA, from Atlanta's people, its culture, because we don't pretend that we know what is best. Yeah, we wanna get in contact. We want to listen to the people, understand, and build something meaningful together in order to build a foundation to go the next step. And of course, it would be great. It would be a dream to see sometime a young player coming from Atlanta over to Furth and wearing our jersey and playing as a professional soccer player in Germany, whether in our club or in another. But that's far away. Yeah, to start from, we're here to building bridges to understand the culture and to get in touch with each other and to care about the people, because that's the most important thing, that the philosophy of our club and the KSA here in Atlanta.
Kareem, what excites you the most and what excites KSA the most about this?
So me personally, was exciting me the most. It's I'm from Europe. I'm from France. I came in 2020 here in America, and as everyone knows, soccer is growing here in America. So I think it's the right time, the right place to really focus on these sports and to give opportunity to the kids and also to the underprivileged kids. That's what KSA do mostly. That's what we're known for here in Georgia. It's really to give the opportunity to the younger players that unfortunately they don't have the finance to be able to get an academy to play soccer, and also to give them the opportunity to dream, about playing professional and maybe in Europe. And also it's an honor, of course, to have a club like Greuther Furth to be able to sustain that. And like you said, they came really humbly, really to watch our culture, because of course it's a different continent, it's a different philosophy. Here it's soccer, there it's football. So yeah, that's really something that is coming naturally. I would say it's the beginning of it. To be honest with you, it's my first time putting a face on Timo, right? It's my first time seeing him. I will see him later on the 3v3 event. Yeah. He's been busy. He came 2 days ago. He had meetings and meetings and meetings. We were, so yeah, it's a pleasure. I will see him tonight on the 3v3 event, and I've seen other coaches as well from the club, and it's only been great. And I'm also learning, a lot of things, sharing, and it's all about that at the end. After, when you do the right things, the right things come by themselves, simply.
And I do want to talk about the 3v3 event before we get out of here, so folks can go and see what's going on. How much of a learning experience, Timo, has it been for you? I know that literally, apparently, you've only been here for 48 hours, but obviously there have been conversations and such about how you want Greuther Furth to impact what's going on here, how you would like KSA to impact what's going on over there in Germany, whether it's with personnel, personality, philosophy, what have you. How much of an education has it been for you and the club?
Well, we've learned that the great football work is happening all over the world, and sometimes in places that get overlooked in the global spotlight, on soccer. But KSA has shown us what it means to truly support young people, and not just becoming better players, but becoming strong individuals. And that is one important thing for our youth development, because if you are a soccer club and you work with 400 to 500 kids and youth players, for sure not each of them will become a professional soccer player. So we're looking to give them the skills, to give them the values that they can make it in life, wherever life may take them, even if they are not becoming a professional soccer player, and that's our mission at the Spielverein Greuther too, and that's the way KSA is looking on developing young players, skilled, hungry, and this is the most important thing, to build characters, with resilience, opportunity, giving them targets in life so they can take it wherever life takes them.
What is it like, Timo, for the club to have a relationship that seemed to be really quick in coming together, that seems to be out of the blocks, to be a relationship that is very symbiotic, that there is the same kind of messaging? What's it like to stumble across a partner like this and have things happen as quickly as this seems to have?
Well, of course, especially because we are a small club, with not too much of stuff. So the quickness overturned us a little bit, and it was very, very, very hard to get in things, keep them going, and all the networking doing over here, talking with Hoffmann and the department they have over here in Atlanta. And after all, I think that developing the talent is one of our most basic work in Germany, and KSA has the same focus over here, and also Atlanta United, which we will meet on match day on Saturday. It's focused on that, because you have to get the young players out of nothing. Maybe you have to find them, you have to educate them, you have to develop them, then making them ready to getting in professional sports and professional soccer in our life. So that is always a big asset, and you don't have much time. You have to be the first, you have to be fast, because otherwise another club will get those talents. And so soccer is a very quick business, and therefore it's no problem that everything went very quick and fast with that partnership right now.
All right, Kareem, tell everybody about the event this weekend, what's going on, and how folks can get to see what this relationship up close and personal. Let them have it. What's going on?
Yeah, so tonight at 6 p.m. at Rock Spring Park, it's a 3v3 event. It's really more to celebrate the collaboration between KSA and Greuther Furth. It's all about fun, it's gonna be music, and it's gonna be a 3v3 event where we're inviting all the Georgia players from U13 to U19. This program is not just about KSA, it's really about also all the players in Georgia. Doesn't matter if they play MLS Next, if they play CNL, if they play any other league in Georgia. We also Greuther Furth providing 5 sessions online and on field as well. We're also evaluating the players, following their development, and then at the end we give them the opportunity maybe to go in Germany in the summer. So it's really to present the program and to invite simply the youngers to come have fun and collaborate. Showing the collaboration that we have with KSA and Greuther Furth.
Absolutely. It's going to be a really cool 6 to 8 Rock Springs Turf Field in Lawrenceville tonight. Once again,
Yes.
there are rules, apparently. There are rules. Once again, it's 3 to 6
gonna be
players.
referees.
That's going to be refs. So it's U13, U14, U15, U16, U17,
Yes.
U18, You get signed jerseys from the first team for the players, real-time exposure to international scouts, once again, 6 to 8 at Rock Spring Turf Field in Lawrenceville tonight. So before you leave, Timo, what are you looking to accomplish? Are you looking to go to the varsity? Other than, do you want really good Southern food? Do you want to watch good soccer? What's on that list before you get out of here?
Well, all of that, yeah. We had a lot of meeting with our partner Hofmann, as I said before. We meet with the Atlanta National School with Goethe Zentrum because we want to understand the culture. That's what I told, yeah. And these meetings will come up, of course. We're very excited, looking forward to meeting Atlanta United tomorrow, making the same sports. But we've also been with the Atlanta Braves yesterday and getting in touch with them. Baseball, the sport that not as popular as it is in the States and Germany, to understand what are the topics of them and how they work and building fans, building partnerships. So you see, it's a big range of topics and themes and meetings we do over here, and looking forward to see the match Atlanta United. Yeah, the arena is grand. I'm just very excited, and it's overwhelming how the people welcome me here. So thanks a lot for everything.
Yeah, it is Southern hospitality, and you know that folks they're going to be grabbing you by the collar and say, "Hey, you got to come over here and look at this. Hey, you got to come over here and look at this." Kareem's going to have to grab you by the back of the neck and go like, "Dude, we're on a clock, man. We got to do this." Yeah, security. Well, I don't. Yeah. Kareem's got you some personal security, and you're probably going to leave here about 10 pounds heavier than you did when you showed up, just because of all the eating that you're going to be doing here. Can't wait to see you tonight in Lawrenceville. For those that can make it out to Lawrenceville tonight between 6 and 8, can't wait to see you tomorrow when you get to see the Atlanta United and Nashville taking on each other at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. First off, glad you made it here safely. Glad that this relationship is really off and running. And we'll catch up with you. For those that will be out in Lawrenceville tonight, we'll see you in Lawrenceville tonight. We'll see you at Mercedes-Benz tomorrow. Can't thank you guys enough for dropping by to kick things off here on the morning show on a Friday. Be safe, enjoy, eat a lot of good food. And we'll see you soon, either tonight or tomorrow or both. Be well, y'all.
Thanks a lot for having us. Thanks, John. Bye-bye. Thanks.
There you go. That's Kareem, and that is Timo, and it's Timo Sheeler. And Timo works in marketing and communications for SPVGG Greuther Furth. Now, here's what's going on. Tonight, once again, it's a 3v3 tournament. Friday, 6 to 8, the Rock Spring Turf Field in Lawrenceville. Phone number, and here, tell you what, I'm going to put the phone number and the email here just so you can lay it all out. So phone number for anybody that is interested, 985-6867. All right, so all right, so that is the phone number. If anybody wants to get in touch with anybody and find out more about the tournament in and of itself tonight. So that is 6 to 8 in Lawrenceville, 678-995-6867. And you can find out more information there or go to info@kalanjisoccer.com. Info@kalanjisoccer, KLONJI, kalanjisoccer.com. And so once again, that's the phone number. That's your email, info@kalanjisoccer.com. 3v3 tournament tonight out in Lawrenceville at the Rock Spring Turf Field. And it's 10-minute matches, 3 to 6 players a team, U13 and 14, U15 and 16, U17 and 18. And once again, it's a chance to showcase talents. You get signed jerseys as rewards and real-time exposure to international scouts. And so once again, pleased to invite everybody to this 3v3 tournament hosted in collaboration with Greuther Furth and Hofmann Personal. So once again, this is really cool stuff that we're having out in Lawrenceville tonight. For those of you out in Gwinnett County, out in Lawrenceville, you can catch up with everybody out there. So once again, 678-995-6867 or email at info@kalanjisoccer.com for the 3v3 tournament with our friends at KSA and our friends at SPVGG Greuther Furth. So there you go. Once again, all on one line. 678-995-6867, info@kalanjisoccer.com. And hopefully, once again, if you ain't got nothing going on and the rain can stay away, that it'll be great to go and catch up with folks. And once again, that's great to catch up with Kareem Tamimi and Timo Sheeler with KSA, the Kalonji Soccer Academy, and with SPV GG Greuther Furth. And great to see this relationship. Literally, and I was going back through all of the information, and literally it was something that started back on the 17th. Literally, this was like Kareem is now one of the leading coaching staff of this project in Georgia. And so with Kareem and Tony Tiente, they're going to be having a few folks in this project, once again, partnering with Greuther Furth in the Bundesliga and Bundesliga B, ensuring players across Georgia that they have access to this kind of relationship. So you're talking evaluations and coaching. You're talking in-person player development camps with Furth technical staff, ongoing online training, and with opportunities for selection to travel for Germany for tryouts and training as well. So once again, it's Kareem and Tony Tiente, a couple of folks that you might remember from their time with Atlanta United too. So very, very cool stuff there. And this relationship off and running, because literally it was announced back on the 17th. It was announced back on the 17th that this kicked off. And it is now off and running to where you have Greuther Furth coming by, and they are dropping by here. So if you see them tomorrow, if you're at Mercedes-Benz and you see them tomorrow, once again, shake hands, say hi, take pictures, and let them know that it's great to see them here once again as a part of this big collaboration between KSA and SPVG Greuther Furth. It's a milestone for KSA. And over the last 5 years, KSA has been sending players to Germany to compete in the 4th division. And now they can elevate the mission. This is from their release back on the 17th. They get to elevate that going from the 4th division to the 2nd division in Bundesliga B with the relationship now with Greuther Furth. And so it's going to expand the knowledge of player development, create opportunities for players and coaches. And once again, it's aligned with a Bundesliga club, not just for achievement, but a transformative step in KSA's mind to getting them to the next level. So commitment to community as a part of all of this too. So once again, really, really cool stuff with Kalonji Soccer Academy and Kareem Tamimi, Tony Tiente, lead coaches in this effort with SPV GG Greuther Furth at Bundesliga B. So very, very cool stuff with them as they are right now. It's a bit of a fight for Greuther Furth right now. They are relegation playoff safe at the moment, and that's what you want to be. You don't want to. You right now in Bundesliga B, there is, with 3 matches to go, they are 6 points from the relegation playoff. There are 2 teams with 29 points and one with 23. Jean Regensburg, Preußen Münster, and 1846 right now, they're in the relegation zone. But right now, Greuther Furth, 9 wins in 31, and there's a couple of matches to go. Schalke, as a matter of fact, is only 3 points ahead of them in the standings. So there's some room to move for Greuther Furth, but very, very cool for Greuther Furth to be paired up with KSA. Literally, it started like on the 17th. The announcement came out the 17th, and Timo Sheeler is here. 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. So like 16 days later. So 2 weeks later, Timo Sheeler from Marketing and Communications is a part of Greuther Furth's group that is over here with them and the partnership and the new relationship that they have with the Kalonji Soccer Academy. Kareem Tamimi and Tony Tiente, the leading coaches on the KSA side of things. So to have this relationship with a Bundesliga side and a Bundesliga B side currently, very, very cool stuff. And we can't thank everybody for orchestrating that and having them bat leadoff this morning. It was great to catch up with Kareem and Timo to find out the latest on all of this as we're rolling forward. So very, very cool stuff to bat leadoff this morning, involving everybody here at SDH. And so we have put out the siren song. So we will see what it looks like. So it's going to be very, very cool. And it's going to be very, very cool to see what's going on. So Greg Garza set to join us in a couple of minutes, and we'll catch up with Greg, who has been incredibly busy and running all over the planet and doing his soccer for good. So very, very cool stuff with Greg. Because, I mean, trying to catch Greg sometimes is literally, I always make the analogy, it's kind of like trying to catch water through an open hand or trying to grab a comet by the tail. And it's really cool that that we see Greg doing all of these things. That we see Kat doing all of these things, and making sure that as a part of our Soccer for Good that they get to do this stuff with our friends at Beyond Goals Mentoring. And so we go from one element involving Kalanji Soccer Academy and Greuther Furth in Bundesliga B to what we get to catch up with on our Fridays with Greg and Michael Parkhurst. And the one thing, remember last week, and it is that day, it is that weekend when it comes to activity with Rhode Island FC. So we put out the siren song, and we'll see if Mr. Parkhurst can hang out with us, if he's got his camera with him, if he's just hanging there at the newly minted bank-sponsored stadium in Rhode Island. So we'll see what happens and see if he is on campus and can show us around if he's there. But more importantly, it's time to catch up with our friend Greg Garza and our friends at Beyond Goals Mentoring for the Friday Free Kick. Talk about a dude who is all over the planet. Man, we actually caught you in one place. Welcome back, my friend.
I'm home just for a little bit.
All right. So recap. Since the last time you were here, and I know that you need that cafe to get you gassed up this early in the morning on a Friday.
Second one I've been.
Man, so what have you been doing? Where have you been, sir? We have missed you. What have you been up to?
Man, did Orlando with the family a couple of weeks ago for spring break for the kids. So that was Universal Studios and all that kind of stuff. Got home, and then from there the next week had a trip with my girlfriend to Chicago that we do every year. And after that, probably just running around like crazy, man.
And it's that time where when we caught up with Parky last time, he said that things have now expanded into the state of Ohio, and that's because out of calendars and things and how calendars are different. This is turning into the 14-month a year thing for you and Greg, which for you and Cap, which I know that you had wanted to do. What's it like having to do this now 14 months out of the year and 380 days a year now?
Man, I tell people I'm like a 19-hour work day person. So I get my 5-6 hours of sleep every day, and then back to it. Started early this morning.
All right, so run me through a 19-hour day. How are you getting 26 hours of work into a 19-hour day?
Man, it is waking up extremely early, having some time to myself, getting everything I need to do to help myself feel good about myself, kind of that sense of accomplishment. So it's running every day, working out every day. I'll do that for the first, hour or hour and a half of my day. It sucks waking up and doing it. But once I'm finished and I feel kind of, ready to tackle the whole entire day, it just depends. Sometimes you have kids who want to do a mentoring session right before school. Sometimes you have kids who are homeschooled and can do a mentoring session like right after this. It's kind of sporadic throughout the day. And then usually I kind of have like a lunch break where I'll meal prep or procrastinate in a positive way around the house and doing laundry and getting all the kids' stuff cleaned and all that kind of stuff. And then if I have a little bit of time, then I might go back to the gym and do like a core circuit or whatever, dude. And then after that, my kids usually have training every single day. So it's Monday through Friday training, whether it's from 6 p.m. to 7:30 or finishing at 8. And mom will do me a favor to pick them up from training. I'll take them too. And then my days really start at like 7:38 every single day. And they go until about 11:30. So 11:30, sometimes 11:45, just depending on where that kid is in the world. We have a new mentee that's in Singapore right now.
Whoa!
12-hour difference. So sometimes like yesterday I mentored him at 8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 p.m. on his end. So it's interesting, man. We're able to fill so many spaces within the States. I think I think I just did this a couple of weeks ago for our marketing team. I think we have about 41 states of kids that we mentor. So, it's pretty cool, man.
The last time we talked, I think it was up to in and around 250 different mentees. Does that sound anywhere close?
No, we're probably passing 1,000 here in a little bit.
Wow. How do you keep it all straight?
I have a much better memory than Parky. Let's just say that. I'm the Parky. I always tell people Parky is like the outside of the box, idea, and also like the logistical, the logical thinker, right? Just like very, well spoken and has different ideas. And kind of myself, I'm like the motivator and the go-getter, and I'm the people's person. I'm definitely the salesman of our crew. And Parky is the one that is the idea behind everything.
Were you always that kind of personality when it came to
even in the locker room? Yeah, even in the locker room, I was the goofball. I was the one making fun of everybody, making people laugh, doing stupid stuff. That's always been me, to just kind of always have a smile. I think it's especially for those guys. And I think that's where a lot of people, they always see me and they're like, man, we thought you were such a big a-hole. They really don't get to know me. What they see in the game, I completely transformed. Right. I had that kind of chip on my shoulder and kind of lunatic mentality, and so many other things that kind of defined me as a player. But in the communities and any way and where I can be, I'll always be that motivator and, goofball. I mean, I see Miss Abs. I was at Silverbacks doing an event for the Hispanic community for about 150 kids. It was funny. Soccer in the Streets was right across from us. And I've done that event a couple of years ago as well, or visited as well. But this one was by a group called Alianza. They do Hispanic tournaments all around the United States.
Yep.
And they invited me to be a part of it here in Atlanta. And I think it was a success. So now I might be wearing another hat and having the opportunity to travel with them and go. I mean, like, I think after them meeting me and, seeing that I am a Mexican American player who played in both countries and had success in both countries, I think it's cool to kind of be that, bridge for them as well, especially within the Hispanic communities. There's so many Hispanics around the States, and just providing them the opportunity. And so they do a really good job in getting partnerships and sponsorships from all different companies. That one was sponsored by King's Hawaiian Bread, and had about 150 kids from ages 4 to 14. So it was really cool to be a part of that. And once again, I'm the guy that's like, when I got there, they were like, we don't know what you can do if you just want to hop in and be with the kids. And then about 3 hours later, they were like, wow, you're amazing with kids. And I'm like, well, that's what I do. That's what I do for a living, man. So I gotta be something with what I'm good at. So, but I'm like the type of person that, I mean, if I see a kid walking by and they have, in today's world, shoes never have laces or anything, and I'll walk by and I'll be like, dude, your shoes are untied, and they'll look down, and that's, I'm always doing something that's, making one of their friends laugh, or, whatever it is, tapping them on the shoulder and looking the other way, all those little things.
When it comes to a locker room that needs that, I would imagine, though, that's a fine line, especially if you're not doing well or is doing as well as you would like. How do you navigate maintaining your personality, knowing everybody in the locker room, knowing that you're serious, and navigating those rough patches with all of the different personalities that are there in a locker room like that?
Yeah, it's a fine line, and it's a balance, right? You have to know, you obviously, you get to know personalities and know who you can mess with and joke around with. It's, you pick and choose. There's always going to be that one guy that might be a goofy punching bag that you might need in the locker room. And in our time there, it was Mr. Mikey Ambrose. Mikey Ambrose was the punching bag for all of us, and in the like most loving way, but just the banter was always through Mikey or Chris McCann, Harrison Heath when he was there as well. You know, you need those guys that are going to just lighten your day. If you're having the crappiest day and you go into the locker room and you just have those guys, and I was definitely one of those guys, that bridge of different languages as well, where I got to joke in all sorts of different languages, right? So, I mean, if Atlanta United wants to pay me right now and just be in the locker room for banter and try and turn things around, I would definitely say yes. I'm not going on the field. I don't think I would survive. But just to be in the locker room and kind of be with those guys and get the morale up and change the air a little bit. It's so needed, especially in times like these, because you still need that managing role of guys that are going to be, you know, there's going to be guys that are ticked off and pissed off all day with what's going on right now, and you gotta find a way to kind of get them back into the mix of what they're doing. For me, it was almost like a message of, you know, you get to do what you love every single day. You know, like that happiness and that joy of stepping on the field. There's no better escape. And so I think that for me was something that I always lived by. But yes, the fine line for me was, hey, when it was serious and it had to be serious, I was probably one of the most serious. So yeah, I was willing to put my life on the line for whatever play.
But then when you have, say, like what's going on right now, and you are almost afraid to be yourself, how do you push past that to regain who you are toward the successes that you know that your club, whomever we're talking about here, but yes, we're talking somewhat about Atlanta United. How do you get out of that quicksand? How do you push all that stuff away? How do you push through being afraid to make a mistake? I imagine these are conversations that you have with mentees too.
Yeah, once again, I think you still have to find kind of that why and who. I think that's always important, especially for pros. Those guys, they have to realize their why every single day, who they're doing it for, why are they doing it, even if they're in rough patches, because that's the whole reason that they're there. It doesn't matter if you're a $15 million player, if you're a, you know, $67,000 player. It doesn't matter. You're still a guy who needs to understand the opportunity at hand and just to be where you are. You know, I have a young boy. that we actually kind of created an exercise together about 2 months ago. And he's been on Real Monarchs for the past 2 years, and he's played 2 games. And this is coming from a kid who was captain on every single Real Salt Lake age group, from like U14s all the way up. Was the captain on every team. And has been a pro for 2 years and has played 2 games. That's it. And so, you know, it's interesting to like even try and find a way to motivate players like that. You know, you have to find a way to where they can be put in a good mindset and being patient and still going to practice and enjoying themselves and not being doubtful of why am I doing this? Why, like, you know, just getting them always back to home base and understanding, I think, their why and who they're doing it for. That's the most important thing for all the guys that are even at AU right now. It's that chemistry is going to click at one point. You just got to have to continue to be patient and, you know, see if it'll work out.
But God, that's got to be one of the most anticipation, I would think, of result has to be one of the most frustrating things for an athlete at any level. You know, it's there. It's not there now. But, you know, if everybody says, okay, stay the course, be you, shake off, you know, all the negatives, what happened, you can flush it, learn from it, and move on. That's got to be one of the most frustrating things, to know that it's there and then balance the idea of, I know it's there, but I don't want to mess up and make things worse for everybody around me because of the situation. And it seems like that there's almost like a vicious cycle there that you're trying to avoid.
Yeah, it's the mentality as well. I think in the league, just from personal experience, is such a different standpoint than playing in Mexico at that time. right now, not now because pro rel doesn't exist anymore in Mexico, right?
Right.
But like the mentality, I think for most people who play in the league is that, okay, if things aren't working out, then, you know, we have this whole year to build on what might be next. And I think that's a mentality that, yes, there's that pressure there. But there's not that pressure of like, there's no tomorrow.
Right.
And I think that sometimes is something that I think, I wouldn't say hinder performance, but just doesn't give that extra boost, I think, or that extra sprint back, or that extra, I don't care if I'm hurting right now or injured, I'm going to get through it. And I think playing in other places and, you know, playing in those hostile like situations, even individually and collectively, of fighting for relegation or fighting to stay up in the first division, those, I think that also has a huge component to how the guys carry themselves each and every day, how they carry themselves in the games, their type of mentality in terms of getting through these tough moments.
Greg Garza, his second cup of coffee, hanging out with us here on the Friday Free Kick at BG Mentoring on the 280 character app, at Beyond Goals Mentoring on all the other medias that are social. So, all right, here's my challenge for you as you take your sip of coffee. So, because you have to be hydrated for this particular session.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. My challenge for you, if you were to walk into that locker room right now and someone tapped you on the shoulder and it's like, okay, I need you to talk to them before the match, before they go out there, before the fans, they at Mercedes-Benz Stadium this weekend. If you had to go into that locker room and wanted to talk to the new wave of Atlanta United, what would you say? I'm not going to say it's a speech, but what would your talking points be in trying to address that locker room to try and get them off of the schneid that they're currently on?
So many different ways you can handle it, right? You know, I'm a person that I like to apply the pressure. I don't like to take it away. And I think that's what's needed. I think that's what's needed. It's you know, you think about what they're going through. They're underperforming in terms of results, but are they underperforming in terms of like, are they just crapping the bed?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't. It's a hard one to. It's a hard one to kind of really dissect because they're doing great things. There's not things on the field that they're doing and just like it's shambolically bad. You know, there's really good moments that you see and they give you good glimpses. And then I think sometimes it's just moments of, you know, focus and concentration or whatever it is that will turn the game upside down. And then, you know, I think there's just might be like a mental block of getting it back. So trying to get them on the right, you know, track. I honestly don't know which way I would go in terms of applying more pressure and making them understand the level that they have to live up to, or I think that's where you have to be in a locker room and you have to get a feel for how these guys are. Every coach that I played for was, you know, the best coaches that I played for, I will always say were not coaches. They were good managers.
Yeah.
They understood the personalities, they understood the emotions of everyone, they understood how to get the best out of everyone. And so I think when you're not in the locker room, you're not in that sacred, you know, it's a sacred place. A locker room is a sacred place. It's you don't know what the emotions are. You don't know what you know, I've talked about this with Jason as well, as you don't know what the competitive stress of these guys are going through right now. And there's so many different things that we don't see from the outside.
Yeah.
And so, you know, hopefully that's something that you can hope and pray that the manager can really transform and help them get out of whatever they're going through. Because like I said, there's from a fan standpoint, there aren't like you can't look at some of their games, and yes, maybe one or two of them out of the season, but that's always going to happen in a season.
Yeah.
You can't look at most of their games and be like they're playing bad.
Yeah.
Or they're not creating chances, or they're not playing that flair and fire, because there are a lot of glimpses that they do have that spark. They do have something there, and then whether it be just sometimes the bad luck that they have, and then just not being able to turn it around in those key moments. But I think it's still a minute of them figuring themselves out and figuring their chemistry out. I don't think, from a fan standpoint, I don't think how lucky we are to have had the chemistry that we had from the very beginning, and our success and our tenure that we had with Atlanta United in those very first couple or few years. That is something like unheard of. You don't bring guys that are from all around the world, never played with each other, speak all sorts of different languages, and something just clicks. It happens one team out of how many teams? There's a whole brand new team this year. Look at San Diego, right? San Diego is another team that you can kind of look at and you're like, wow, like they play some really, really good soccer at times. But they're still getting to know each other. And so I think, you look back at our success that we had, we were even in shock as players on the field that we had such good chemistry. So it's definitely, there's so many different angles that you can look at it.
Well, and you talking to someone who is 19 versus talking to someone who is 32 versus talking to someone who's in their late 30s. And it literally, it's going, I would imagine it's like going up to each particular seat in that locker room, like you do with your mentees, like with you and Cap. And it's like messaging probably has a commonality of theme to it on some levels, but each individual conversation is probably different. Taking that messaging and taking that message and turning it a little bit and having it apply to each individual person. It's like, well, if someone knows what it's like to sit here and go like this and they get it, then you might not have to do as much to an individual that might be a little older, that has other things going on in their lives, that you talk about the competitive stress and the stuff off the field that compounds a lot to how sometimes you act on the field. So I would imagine it's almost a seat by seat basis in that locker room.
Yeah. My biggest point will always come down to the manager. It'll always come down to the manager and getting the best out of your players. That's if your players are bought in, if your players are truly bought in with what you bring, with what you want to do, with them, with him knowing he can get the best out of each and every one of them knowing their role, that's a successful team. I can recall numerous times, even being at Atlanta United, and let's use Tata for example. Tata would pull me. We'd be doing a training session, whether it be a transition training session or whatever, and Tata would pull me aside and say, I need you. I need you to keep doing exactly what you're doing. And I need you to continue to be the person you are off the field, on the field. Just continue to be doing what you're doing. You are playing with an immense amount of confidence. That right there, like stepping into the next game, where it was like, before, I think it was like before San Jose, like at home at Bobby Dodd. Where we started losing and we kind of had like that amazing comeback where Joseph almost burned himself with fire. But like that was probably one of my favorite games I played in. But that was stuck in my mind from a managing standpoint, that even when crap hit the fan in that game, I was still instilled with that confidence of, okay, this is a moment to where coach told me a few days ago, he needs me. He needs me to do the exact same thing what I'm doing. And that's the mindset. That's the mindset that you can get out of players. Tata knew that he could tell me that, whereas he might be telling Miggy, something else. He might be telling Joseph, understanding Joseph's personality and saying, hey, dude, this last game that you played was an absolute embarrassment. But he knows he might be able to get something out of that with him because of who he is. So that individual, understanding of, for me, it comes down to the manager. Where I've played in teams as well in Tijuana, to where we had, the highest paid coach at one time in Mexico, and probably close in the world, right? We had just brought over a Venezuelan, head coach that got them to like the semifinals of Copa America. And like, this is, hopefully it doesn't get out there in public, but he was probably one of the, worst coaches I had in my career. But because of how psychological damaging he was to each and every individual, he treated everyone exactly the same, and just such a rigid mentality of just banging on everyone at all times. And not everyone is like that, so I will always say it comes down to the manager and understanding your players and how to get the best out of them. That's where the leadership starts. That's where those pregame talks, or those talks during the week of pulling players aside, having those individual meetings with them, and inclusive, and being inclusive of everyone as well.
How much of that and all of those experiences have impacted you as a mentor now, where you understand messaging for each individual mentee, and you're touching base, and everything's might be different here, and different here, even if there are some things that are similar?
Massively, because this kid who's a pro at Monarchs, I will speak so much differently to a young boy who's 11 years old and trying to get up to another team, right? There's a different, the messaging is similar, but in the way that I'm saying it is going to be much, much different. Helping them understand the importances of life, or the importance of why they do what they do, the type of personality that they need. I will use different avenues and angles how to approach it with each and every one of them. But that messaging, ultimately what I'm going to get through to them is the same.
How long did it take for you to hit that rhythm as a mentor, and what you're doing at Beyond Goals?
No, I think that stems back from what you and I talked about in the very beginning of being who you are in the locker room. That was who I was in the locker room. I was that glue to bring everybody together in a goofy way, but also leading by action way. If we look back to every warm up of Atlanta United, and we were to go back and we were to look at film in the Mercedes-Benz, I was the first one in warm up every single time. First one. And I wasn't the guy that was going to be like, rah, rah, let's go, guys, let's do this. But I was the first one in warm-up every single time. And our lines of two, whatever it was, I was the first one. I was the first one to step out on the field and run everybody out. That was who I was. That was the serious in me. But at the same time, during those warm-ups, I might, spring a little joy or sprinkle a little, happiness or goofballness to kind of get everybody in the right mood and understand we're about to do what we love. So I transcended, I guess you could say, into that as a mentor as well.
I just have this vision of you trying to have Big Red crack a smile during a pregame warm-up.
Me?
Yeah, you trying to get Big Red to crack a smile. I don't know if Lorenowitz in a pregame warm-up would sit there and go, bruh.
No, for sure. For sure. Not many people know that Big Red is Napoleon Dynamite, all right?
Yeah.
He is the true Napoleon Dynamite, the most sarcastic comedian.
Oh yeah,
I've ever seen. Like,
oh, yeah.
he made people laugh. He made people laugh just for fun. Just for fun.
And he'll come in with a sledgehammer, and you won't realize that he just came in with it. He'll drop a sledgehammer on you, and you get a laugh, and you're sitting there and go, "Hey, wait a minute."
Well, that's because every single one of us are about 6,000 times less intelligent than he is. So,
wow. All right. So, what's the latest with Beyond Goals before you get out of here?
Man, same old, man. Just continue growing the game. Wearing a lot of different hats. I just got the opportunity to be, hopefully, the FIFA Club World Cup ambassador for Atlanta. So that's something that I'm pretty excited about, and hopefully it goes through. So pray for me. I'm like hoping I'm hoping I do a good job in, I guess, ambassading Atlanta.
Ambassadoring behavior,
ambassadoring Atlanta, not just for the Club World Cup, because I don't really want to watch Chelsea play in the Club World Cup. I'm just hoping I can kind of plant my eggs, or plant my seeds and all over with put my eggs in different baskets with FIFA, because I'm excited about something else, not just the Club World Cup. I kind of want to plant that seed so I can be ready for, hey, instead of paying $6,000 for a nosebleed ticket in the World Cup,
Yeah, can I ambassador for like a cut rate there? Like 0.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. Glad we can catch up with you here on the Friday Free Kick and find out
always, man.
Beyond Goals mentoring. You know, you got the garage door opener and you can hit it anytime.
Sounds good, bro.
All right, be good.
See you guys.
Greg Garza, everybody. And so now, since we have hit 10 o'clock, it is time to jump in. It's, like I said, it's time for the hot tag. Like when you're watching wrestling, for those of you that watch wrestling, there's time to tag in another somebody. So Greg Garza jumps into the corner and he tags, and we bring in Marty Jelleme, the head coach of Atlanta United Unified, to start hour number 2. What is up, Coach? Good to see you.
Hey, how are you doing? Looking for a great season. That's what's up. I mean, got a big match on Saturday.
Exactly, and that's why we wanted to grab you and find out about everything. And I wanted it to also be a bit of an education for those that may not necessarily know anything and everything about Unified. For those that may not know about the Unified team involving Atlanta United, how far back does this go, and what has it been like to see it grow to where it is now?
So it's gone for, I think this is their 9th or 10th year. I've been involved the last 7. And it's been a huge growth. When they first started, they were playing 5v5 on a small field. They primarily only had players and partners from Cobb County. Fast forward to today, we are playing a full pitch 11v11. One of the few teams that do that. We have 20 kids on the team. And also we have open tryouts. What a huge change in just a really short period of time. And also, anyone who's watched us over the years, I think you would see that skill of our players has really, really improved over the last, 9 years or so.
And you look at the life skills that are gained for something like this. It's about community. It's about friendship. It's about learning about yourself, whether you're a coach or on the staff or part of support or one of the players. It's a learning experience, I think, in 3 dimensions, not just for yourself, but everyone that is in your orbit that's associated with Unified.
Oh, definitely. I think even more so the partners, I think, really, really learn a lot about themselves by doing the program. The players get opportunities to come talk on shows like yours. They have to speak in front of crowds. It's really, really large, a large amount of growth that you see, especially in the first 2 years. If they're lucky enough to make it, because you got to try out every year. There's no guarantees. But it's amazing. The parents especially have come back to us and said, my son or daughter, the growth in their whole life outside of soccer by doing this program is tremendous.
And that's one of the other elements in this, and that this is co-ed. This is young men and women who are out there with each other, learning about each other's styles and and all of the athletic aspects of it too. And you get to see some amazingly talented individuals across the board, whether you're talking about a young woman or a young man that's attached.
Yeah, no, and we're one of the few clubs that have that. A lot of the clubs tend to be all male dominated teams. Atlanta United, we try to make sure that we recruit and foster to have a co-ed team, because we need to reflect what people see.
Do you remember your first day on the job as head coach?
I distinctly remember the first day standing in the basement of Mercedes-Benz when I walked out for the first match. I was so nervous, it was unbelievable. I couldn't. I mean, you get the butterflies just like anything else, and it was pretty cool. I remember that day clearly, that first match.
And so when you look at where things are, and now you have incredibly talented athletes that are out there, and it's not just home games. I mean, the schedule varies from year to year, and after the matchup in Nashville, it's a 4-game schedule, I believe, again this year, and you're going places that you've never been before, and it's also part of the adventure aspect for the Unified roster as well, where they get to learn and interact with folks, not just themselves, not just in a practice situation, not just in a rivalry match against the Nashville or a Charlotte, but they're going places they've never been before, and it gets to add to their DNA as people as well.
Oh yeah, and And Atlanta United's doing something that's never been done before this year. We'll be the first club to travel internationally to go play, which is unbelievable. I mean, luckily, we're going to get the great opportunity to have an international club play with us later in the year, but we're first. We're the first ones to go out. We're going to go to Toronto. I mean, that means passports. That means customs. I mean, that is a huge thing for these athletes to do. I can't wait. I mean, it's going to be a great weekend.
When it comes to, I guess, the on the field coaching and the off the field learning for you and the staff, I mean, it literally is that reawakening of, oh yeah, there's things that we have to do. It literally is. It's customs and passports and all these kinds of things. It kind of reminds us, and I think it brings us all back to center just in our day to day, not just dealing with athletics.
Yeah. Yeah, repeat that again. I missed that one.
No. Just the idea of, I think that having these kinds of experiences, whether, you remember about coming back, it reminds you about everything else that's rewarding about being in a situation like this, where it's about travel, it's about integration, it's about personalities and learning other cultures and things like that. I mean, you're learning other cultures when you're taking that road trip to Austin, but you're also learning other cultures, when you go to Toronto and learning internationally. It's life lessons that are off the field. And it's, like I said, it's just as impactful for coaches and the coaching staff as much as it is for these players too. Oh
yeah. I mean, I love meeting the other coaches from around the country, how they develop their teams. How do they get their players? I mean, that's a big part of, luckily here in Atlanta, we have open where anybody who plays soccer, is involved in stuff, can come and try out. A lot of organizations don't have that. And also their philosophies and styles. We play a style where we try to promote the player aspect. They are the driving force of our offense and our defense. Not all the teams have that. So, just meeting them and changing and doing all that stuff, it's a great experience.
When you have conversations with the other coaches that are attached to unified teams in Major League Soccer, what are those conversations like? What are you learning about each other?
Well, we're learning about kids and players and partners. What's the best way to reach out to them? Because every player and partner is a little bit different, and there's a different way to get to each one of them. What you do with one player, especially, you cannot do with another player, because you can't touch them. Let's say they have some sensory issues, they have different things. So that individual connection, really, on a team like this, is really important, and you have to really know who you've got with you, and in order to get the best out of them.
And how has you mentioned how it has grown here with Atlanta United, where it is more regional when it comes to tryouts and approach and things like that. You mentioned how it's grown as well. How would you like to see Major League Soccer continue to approach unified? Because if I'm not mistaken, not every club in Major League Soccer has a unified team. It's only a certain number that's attached. If you could wave a magic wand, how would you like to see the unified approach and a unified team aspect grow inside of Major League Soccer?
I would love to see two things happen. One, that every MLS club has a team, whether it's a 5v5 or 11v11. I think every club should have one. The other thing I think that would be the neatest thing to do would be have a MLS Cup every year where all the teams come together and do a 2 or 3 day tournament, and you work your way through and you have a champion. I think that would be very similar to what they do. You could do quicker games, things along that lines, but would that not be just amazing to see that?
That'd be epic. And I think you and I both know a venue that probably could host that pretty easily, eh?
Yeah, and there might be another venue here in Atlanta coming up a little while that could do it too,
Yeah. I mean, I think that'd be fantastic. How hard of a change was it to go from 5v5 to 11v11?
Huge. It took us probably 2 years to really get it, because the biggest thing is you have offsides. Think how difficult it is just for fans to go, wait a minute, he you're past the ball or past the person, but I'm not involved, so I'm not offsides. That concept of offsides is really hard, and especially our players are more black and white, so it's like, okay, two people, that's it. They don't understand the nuances, sometimes are lost. That was probably the biggest thing. And then fitness is huge, just because some of the disabilities that they have limit what they can do, how much they can run, and things like that. So those are the two biggest things. The rest, getting unified partners that understand the game and help promote, that was fairly easy. So I would say, offsides, fitness would be the two biggest things.
When you find a partner, how difficult is it, or is it difficult to match them, and so that way you have the partnerships and the duos where it is a seamless element when you have all of the partners engaged and the other parts of the roster engaged. How much of a chemistry experiment is it trying to determine, okay, partners, I need the partners to do A, B, C, D, and E, and then the rest of the roster, when they integrate F, G, H, I, and J, how difficult is that chemistry experiment sometimes?
We've been really pretty lucky where almost all of our partners have played either Special Olympics, North Fulton United, Cobb County, volunteered at one of those groups. So they understand what the goal is. The goal is not them shining, but they do shine by doing what they need to help the other partners. Help the other players shine. So that's been a great thing that we've been lucky enough to have, is most of these kids come in with an understanding of the game, because almost all of them play at club teams, their high school teams, but then also what not the goal, but let's say the philosophy behind the team is, we're there to promote and make them better. So if they come in with that, then, they're going to do perfect.
Marty Jelleme, the head coach for Atlanta United's unified team, getting ready for their season opener here in 2025 against Nashville after the match. And we wholeheartedly have encouraged all week long, and when your schedule came out, that once the match is over with the MLS folks, you can move in your seat, you can move down to the 100 level, and you can yell as loudly as humanly possible. And that is, as always, a recommended behavior. Do you, get the chance to catch up with your players, and do they feel that energy? Do you get any feedback from them about the energy that the fans bring in situations like this, where they're inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium and folks are yelling their heads off? Do you get that feedback from them?
I will give a shout out to the 17s, that you go to any other stadium, nobody is as loud as Atlanta United. The 17s back there hitting the drums, screaming, yelling, making sure that everybody is engaged in the match. No other team has anything like that for MLS. They are amazing. And then we probably get close to the largest crowds to stay for the games compared to some of the other clubs. Some, they're pretty small, but we get a good group, and I'm hoping to see a lot more tomorrow. An afternoon match, you guys can stay, watch for an hour or two. It's not 10, 11 o'clock at night. I get late those days. Hey, you can stay for an hour, go get a beer afterwards or whatever, and you'll have a wonderful time. You'll totally enjoy it. So I want to see everybody out there tomorrow.
Do you get the chance to talk to the other coaches with the other teams, whether about fan support, and give them advice, considering how Atlanta United, I think, is safe to say, is probably the bellwether for unified teams in Major League Soccer? Do you guys get to go back and forth and feedback about fan interaction, crowd interaction, that kind of a thing, engaging with the outside world in situations like this?
Yeah, usually most times the day before the clubs will come in and we'll do an activity with the other club, which would be all the players, all the partners, and all the coaches. So during that time, we'll always get a little time to ourselves. The coaches will go to the side, talk about, what works in their areas, what doesn't, what do you do that we could do better. So that always happens. And then also we'll all watch the match together most of the time. And then that's another time that we get together and we can talk and do all that. So there's a lot of interaction, which is nice.
And this is with the unified teams, you have all-stars. I mean, there have been great all-star announcements that have happened inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium where they get to integrate and be a part of MLS All-Star Week. It is something I think that more people should be drawn to for a bunch of different reasons. Because it's part of the community, it's a part of the 17s, it's a part of the fabric, and it's not just something that is out there to be out there. There is a great meaning and a great attachment for Atlanta United Unified with Atlanta United, and I think that that's something that's really cool to see.
And I think they're the best. Like you said earlier, Atlanta United, the community relations team, does the best job of anybody that I've come across, and they're really committed, and they do. The things they do are the little small things to make it that much better. Like they set locker rooms up. What else? Make sure that the team players come out. Those little things are what make them the best. And it's all due to the community relations team at Atlanta United. So heads up. I mean, shout out to them.
Absolutely, Lena Saul and everybody in community relations. I mean, it's the stuff that I don't think we necessarily think about. And, the unified team is an equal. It is an equal part of this. The procession is the same. The uniforms are the same that you see with first team and second team. It is a first-class operation, and I think that it's almost an understood that even as 17s or anybody is looking, that this is how, it is a unified team that has Atlanta United's name with it, that this is how it is going to be. So the fact that you'll see the procession, you'll see all the different things. It's there because that's what's expected from Atlanta United when you have something like this happen. I mean, it's there. It's a unified team. Yes, this is how it is going to be done. There is no second chance to do anything like that. There is no substitute. It is going to be done in a first-class way.
Oh yeah, no, and procession is a prime example. Nobody else has done that we've been to. We come with the first team. We all come together. You don't see that with other clubs. We're there. We play after, but here in Atlanta, they are in the forefront. They put them right up there with Team 1 and Team 2. So it's a huge honor to be connected with the team. Let me tell you.
All right, I need you to be head coach for a second. For folks that are wandering in and watching this match and staying after the national match for Major League Soccer. For someone sitting down, considering this is your first match here in 25, who will the 17s gravitate toward on your roster this year? Who's in the spot shadow for head coach Marty Jelleme for folks sitting down in the seats and going to watch the match against Nashville?
Well, X Factor Xavier, number one. You can't miss him. 6'2". I mean, great looking guy, fast, talented. Change of position this year. You're going to notice he's on the wing. He's not in the middle. We're actually going to try to go to a 4 forward on the offensive side of the pitch, bring somebody up the sides, and then when we're on the defensive side of the pitch, go back and we'll have 3 across the top. So I know Nashville is going to put 5 across the back with 3 partners. So to try to break that, we've been working on that. So a little strategy this year, not just 3 across the front like our normal match.
I was going to say, how much film study are you guys doing here getting ready for this one? This is hardcore, man. Well,
we played them last year, so it makes it a little bit easier. No one else except Atlanta United, I think, live streams. So you pretty much go in blind unless you've played the team before. Which, another shout out. There's another thing that Atlanta does that nobody else does. They live stream all the games so that all the supporters can watch. Even if you can't make the game, you can still watch the game, and you can watch the highlights. They keep it up, so it's a pretty cool thing.
Absolutely true. I'm waiting for the moment that Alex Eberle goes to Austin and puts on a 10-gallon hat. I want to see Alex. I want to see Alex on the road trip in Austin, just decked out, looking like a Texan. That's what I'm looking for.
There's only if he did that, he wouldn't get any sun because that hat would be so big, just kind of cover him up. But if you and I went to him and said, Alex, we want you to wear a big old 10-gallon hat. You know, he would be the first person in line to do it. He is up for doing anything. So
I'm
maybe, we might have to do that. I think that would be kind of fun.
That would be fantastic. So, Marty, once again, it'll be great to see everybody with the unified team on the pitch tomorrow for the season opener against Nashville. I know it's a rivalry game across the board. Thanks for doing this, especially as you're prepping for everything and getting ready on a match week. Thank you for dropping by and being a part of the show. Once again, you got the garage door opener. You know how to get in anytime you guys want to chat. We'll probably catch up with you before each match this season. But thanks for dropping by the morning show and letting everybody know about everything Atlanta United Unified. Thanks for doing this, especially on a Friday.
Oh, no, thank you. My pleasure. Anytime you come and watch the match, I think you guys will be amazed at the level of soccer. So come and watch.
Fantastic stuff. Marty Jelleme, the head coach for Atlanta United Unified. Thanks as always, my friend. Great to see you.
Thank you. Good seeing you again, man.
All right. So once again, stay. Bottom line, stay. Once the MLS match is over, obviously you're going to have the cool down period and they're going to work on the turf and everything. But stay. Atlanta United Unified taking on Nashville SC's unified team. They've got some tall timber in the attack. They've got some really talented folks all around the roster, and it's very, very cool. So if you've never been to an Atlanta United Unified match, Jason and Joe and I and Madison, we've called matches in and around the planet for Atlanta United Unified, and that's another aspect of it. Literally, it's like unified team has a road game, match is getting called. That's just literally that's how it is. And so ATLUTD.com will have the broadcast of the unified match, and it'll be, I think it's going to be Maddie and Jason and me and the Hoff. I think that's what it's going to be. I think that's how it's going to look at ATLUTD.com for those of you that do not stay or that want to watch on your favorite device while the match is going on at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But I love the idea of an MLS Unified Cup tournament. I think that would be fantastic. So Marty Jelleme has put that on the floor, and that's a fantastic idea. Love that idea. So once again, this unified roster this year, Alex Eberle, Luke Edwards, Daniel Ellis, Alex Evans. It's brought to you by the letter E. X-Man Hairston, D. Harden in net, Anthony Hernandez with his Cristiano Ronaldo celebration, Kelly Robinson, Steven Russell, and Liam Stewart, who has been an all-star for Major League Soccer and for Atlanta United's unified team. Your 2024 partners, Alexander Bartlett, Savion Brown, Ike Ellsworth, Camila Gomez, Connor McElhenney, Gage Moeller, Tanner Postel, Andrew Rubovitz, Emma Sim, and Daniel Urshansky. So there are some familiar faces, but as Marty said, you're trying out every single year. You are literally trying out every single year. And so that's how it goes with Atlanta United Unified. Getting ready for the matchup for Nashville after the Nashville SC match at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But yeah, I love that idea. I love that idea of an MLS Unified Cup. Could you imagine having that at Mercedes-Benz Stadium? If you got 11v11 going up against all the other clubs in the unified division, have that at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, that place would be rocking, and I would love it. So once again, great to catch up with Marty Jelleme, and we'll catch up and we'll see what's going on with them this weekend with Atlanta United season opener in 2025. So, all right, time to go through juice boxes and let you know what's going on in and around everything. So we'll say hi to everybody who is in this morning, and I know that it's once again, we've been flying around all over the place. 3v3 tournament in Lawrenceville. Once again, Kalanji Soccer Academy. Follow them on Insta. I think it's Kalanji Soccer Academy on the IG, the gram, or the Insta, as the kids say. SPVGG Greuther Furth at a Bundesliga B. They now have a partnership, and it was great to catch up with Timo Schieler and with Kareem Tamimi from KSA to find out about that relationship. So once again, 3v3 tournament, 6 to 8 o'clock tonight in Lawrenceville, and you can catch up with Kalanji Soccer Academy and VGG Greuther Furth to get more information. But once again, phone numbers. Once again, phone numbers to get more information over at Kalanji Soccer, 678-995-6867 or info@kalanjisoccer.com. 3 different groups, 10-minute matches. You get looked at by a bunch of different folks from both KSA and Greuther Furth, and the opportunity for KSA now to have a relationship with a club that is in Bundesliga B big for them and their overall development. And Greuther Furth coming over here once again. This was announced on the 17th, so this is like two weeks after the announcement. Timo and Greuther Furth, they're hitting the ground running with this thing. So it was great to catch up with them in the first half hour. Great to catch up with Greg Garza and get his thoughts about how he would handle what's currently going on in that locker room with Atlanta United, and how Beyond Goals Mentoring is continuing to grow and evolve. 1,000 people. That's fantastic. I love that. But so that was there, and then Marty Jelleme giving us the update on the unified team as they're getting ready for the matchup with Nashville this weekend. So very, very cool. Their season starts in 2025. But, yeah, Alex Eberle, you cannot miss Alex Eberle. And he just brings a smile to your face every time you see him because he is so gung-ho out there. But, yeah, I cannot wait for the Austin road trip for the unified team. The adventures alone will be worth stories for a lifetime. So very, very cool. So stay after the Nashville match. Watch Atlanta United Unified take on Nashville SC's unified team, and it'll be a fun experience and something that you can carry with you. And keep coming back to watch the unified team going up for Atlanta United going up against the rest of Major League Soccer. Morning, Alex. Morning, Abby. And let's see. So morning, David. Yes, big game vibe. Positive vibes on a big game. Morning, Motoflow, and good to have you in. Morning, Dell. I know Dell's got a big matchup with Charleston Battery coming up this weekend, as he always does. Abby with the public service. Go to the Atlanta United website, and there is a pull-down section in the community section discussing the unified team. So you can have get your intel and your info there. Morning, Lokeville. Morning, Ropes. It'll be after the match themselves. Traditionally, it's like a half hour after the match is over. They give you time they give the building time to empty out a little bit for those that want to go and do things outside the building. But if you're wanting to gravitate over and be in the 100s and literally behind the benches, they open those sections. And so they want you to sit in there and be loud for that. So it's traditionally like a half hour, 45 minutes after the match is over. Then that's when that starts. And then it rolls from there. Morning, Ahmed. And yeah, Ropes, it is. They do this. The 17s do a really good job with bringing the noise and everything. So morning to all of you folks. And once again, we'll go through all of the juice boxes, all the gossip, rumor, and innuendo that we have, and what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. And since we have a media match to get to, then we are going to be up there for that at ATLUTD.com. I think it's going to be Mike, Jason, me, and the Hoff. We'll keep you posted on that, but I think we're going to have dueling sideline reporters, 2 up, 2 down. It will be a fun experience, and we hope that you watch. And we'll see if Jarrett's cleats can actually not disintegrate while he's playing. So we'll find out what happens there. All right. Juice boxes for Major League Soccer this weekend. We'll see if anything has changed from our first conversations that we had. Atlanta United, obviously, the early match right now, they're a plus 118. The number's gone up a little bit, but not a whole lot. In the composite, I think it was a plus 112 yesterday. Atlanta United's a plus 118. Your draw's a plus 250. Nashville is a plus 221. 430, which means 440. Toronto hosting the Revs. Toronto at a plus 129. The Revs at a plus 206, and your draw's at a plus 240. 730, you've got 4, which means 4 at 740. CF Montreal at home, favored against Philadelphia. Numbers gone up to a plus 149. Draws a plus 240. Philadelphia is a plus 175. Crew is a minus 143 hosting Charlotte. And once again, apparently Charlotte got an envelope from the league office. I think Dean Smith got an envelope from the league office about press conferences after matches, and he is supposed to deposit something in the league Venmo account. But Charlotte is an underdog and a big underdog on the road at a plus 379. Crew is a minus 143 at home. Draws a plus 288. DC hosting Colorado at a plus 104, which I find interesting. Colorado on the road a plus 231. Your draws a plus 276. Messi and friends, what does this roster look like against Red Bulls? They're a minus 164. Draws a plus 315. And Red Bulls are a plus 405. Maybe look at that draw option. I want to see what the roster looks like. I want to see what the starting 11 looks like and who's on the bench. Austin at 840 hosting Minnesota United. Austin a plus 149. Minnesota United a plus 179. Your draws a plus 238. Fire hosting the purple team at a plus 148. Your draws a plus 250. And the purple team is a plus 170. At 9:15/9:25, San Diego hosting FC Dallas at a minus 128. FC Dallas a plus 330, draws a plus 280. Vancouver at 9:40 hosting RSL at a minus 161. What does that roster look like for Vancouver? Do they just keep rolling them out? How do you rotate? Maybe the stars are on the bench. Come in with 20 or 30 minutes to go if you need to get the push to get the point. RSL's a plus 418. Your draw's a plus 301. LAFC against the Houston Dynamo. LAFC's a minus 172. Draws a plus 305. Houston Dynamo's a plus 448. San Jose even money a plus 100 hosting the Timbers. Go at the goal total, I think, on this one. I think 5.5 was where it turned from minus to plus. Draws a plus 274. Portland a plus 246. Also at 1040, Seattle hosting all caps at a minus 217. Jordan Morris set to be out another 6 weeks after the second MRI. It is a plus 568 for St. Louis City SC. Your draws a plus 346. 2 matches on your Sunday. NYC hosting FC Cincinnati at a plus 123. Draws a plus 212. And, Cincinnati's a plus 212. Your draws a plus 246. Sunday Night Soccer, Sporting hosting LAG at an even money plus 100. LAG is a plus 249. Your draw is a plus 265. Now, ref assignments, just to give you an idea of who's up and who's down and who to keep an eye on with whistles and fouls and things. Oh, the pro website is currently down for maintenance. Insert one-liner here. So we'll hit refresh. The pro website is currently down for maintenance. Okay. There you go. Sure. Why not? All right. MLS Next Pro. A busy night for us on Saturday. Atlanta United 2 is a plus 329 on the road at Huntsville. You'll hear from Steve Cook and from Javi Armas in the pregame show. Huntsville a minus 175, Huntsville City Football Club. Right now, the numbers. Minnesota favored, Loons 2 favored against North Texas SC. Orlando City B favored at a plus 124 on the road against Chicago Fire. These are all tonight. Los Verdos, Austin FC 2 at a minus 149, hosting Sporting Kansas City 2 north of plus 300. Ventura County is favored at a plus 125, hosting Tacoma Defiance at a plus 140. On Saturday, Vancouver Whitecaps are an underdog at home, taking on Real Monarchs, who are a plus 102. Chattanooga at home is a dog to Philadelphia Union 2. They're a plus 110. Chattanooga FC is a plus 195. Now, all right. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Once again, remember the Atlanta United media match at atlutd.com/live. Now, your gossip for today, we'll go over the Premier League juice boxes coming up in a bit. Newcastle is apparently keen on Brian Mbeumo, concerned about his £60 million price tag. They will also not enter a pursuit of Dean Houston from Bournemouth after learning from last year's failed attempts to sign Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace. United considering a move for Jonathan Tah in the summer after his contract expires at Bayer Leverkusen. Arsenal could face a battle with PSG to sign Roma's defender Evan Ndicka, valued between 25 and 34 million pounds. Chelsea also not looking to offload Enzo Fernandez, who's a long-term target for Real Madrid. Manchester United have also agreed to a deal on 18-year-old French forward Enzo Canabik from Le Havre. That's from Fabrizio Romano. Bayer Leverkusen want to prevent Florian Wirtz from joining Bayern Munich this summer. Manchester City and Real Madrid also interested. Real Madrid are happy for Ukraine keeper Andre Lunin to leave the club this season. Kepa, currently on loan to Bournemouth, being considered as his replacement. Villa considering a move for Kevin De Bruyne, who will leave Manchester City at the end of the year. Crystal Palace would want more than $80 million if they're going to sell Adam Wharton in the summer. Reports on this side of the pond have Chicago Fire as the favorite for De Bruyne. February and March. Chicago, February and March. Fort Lauderdale. You choose. Not a hard choice. Also on the board, once again, we'll go through juice boxes. And remember, Saturday morning at 10, the last day of the regular season in the lower divisions in England, you have things that you've got to keep an eye on, specifically promotion, relegation, and playoff seeding and positioning. Friday night football, Manchester City, big favorite against Wolves at a minus 256. Tomorrow, 4 matches. Villa minus 127 hosting Fulham. Everton minus 208 hosting Ipswich. Leicester plus 131 hosting Southampton. 12:30 Arsenal plus 108 hosting Bournemouth at a plus 244. Sunday, 9 o'clock, 3 matches. Brentford minus 145 hosting Manchester United. Brighton a plus 181 hosting Newcastle at a plus 133. West Ham a plus 108 hosting Spurs at a plus 235. At 11:30, Chelsea a plus 112 hosting Liverpool, who are a plus 225 and may still be hungover. 110M32 lets us know Pro changed their profile picture on Twitter. Might be undergoing a branding change. We need to know the officials' assignments. Man, wait until after the show is over. First time somebody's sitting there going, I'd like my pro assignments, but not so much. All right, so we'll see if we have the assignments for on air. I'll let you know what that looks like. And as of right now, the answer is no. We do not have our on-air assignments for the weekend currently for USL. So go to MLS On Air, all one word, to let you know all the things. Studio talent shows, MLS productions, all the information is going to be in one particular location. It's going to be there on the 280-character app. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it today, other than atlutd.com/live when it comes to the media match coming up here early this afternoon. BN has Ligue 1 at 2:45, Nice and Reims. Right now at the top of the hour, it is a U20 AFCON. That's going to be at 11 o'clock in the morning. If you don't have the BNs, and I mean all the BNs, CDO, Nuestra Tele, For the Fans, Tigo Sports, KSA, Goal TV with our buddy Nino Torres, who's going to be hip deep in Portugal this weekend with all of the activity at the top and the bottom of the table there. And also Liga 1 Max Pro. You can go to Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here, and you can get all the info and intel that you need and all the games that you need from across the sections of the planet that they have. And you can also pay, and if you wanted to see extra Libertadores and Sudamericana matches, you can go through their pay-per-view system as well. FS2 has the Beach Soccer World Cup, and it is match number 3 at the top of the hour with Brazil and El Salvador being in Espanol simulcasting Ligue 1. ESPN Deportes, Rayo Vallecano, Getafe at 3. Goal TV, Porto and Morense at 3:15. On the plus, Bundesliga at 2:20. La Liga at 3. League 1 tonight, Richmond and Greenville. Fox Soccer Plus Beach Soccer World Cup, 12:30. The league that we neither condone, endorse, nor promote at 2. Canadian Premier League, York and Calvary at 8. MLSNextPro.com has all of the matchups tonight on MLS Next Pro. Loons 2, North Texas is at 4. Fire 2, Purple Team B at 8. Los Verdos Sporting 2 at 8:30. Ventura County Tacoma Defiance at 10. Paramount Plus Serie A, Torino and Venezia in the Serie A at 2:45. Falkirk and Hamilton Academical in the championship in the Scottish Championship at 2:45. Peacock has Manchester City and Wolves at 3. On the women's side, NWSL Friday Night Football, Washington Spirit Angels City at 8. DAZN USA Frauen Bundesliga at 12:30 with Essen and Freiburg. Golasso Network, Seattle and Kansas City on Golasso at 10:30 in the NWSL. NWSL Plus, Houston and Racing Louisville at 8. Paramount Plus, Seattle, Kansas City at 10:30. VIX has the Sudamericano U17 Femenino. Argentina, Paraguay, Venezuela, Colombia, 5:30 and 8. And Liga MX Femenil at 10 with Monterrey and Pachuca. Whew, that's a lot. All right. Because of everything that is going on, we are going to end the show early. And so, because we have to pack up and make sure that the rowdy man is all taken care of and that everything is squared away with him and that we get ready for a couple of different things. Once again, media match this afternoon. Then we're going to be having an interview with our friends at USC Upstate. We're going to catch up with them and find out the latest about an interesting addition to the athletic program on the soccer side of things. We'll catch up with them about that. 7 o'clock on the network, pregame a little before. From Calhoun, Johnson, Gainesville, and Calhoun in the round of 16 on the boys' side. And we'll follow along with all the brackets. Jason will have the call. I'll be up there at Calhoun with him. We'll go through all the brackets, let you know what you need to know when it comes to everything that did not happen yesterday. I think yesterday was somewhat fairly chalkish when it came to favorites. We'll see if that happens today with the matchups that we have in the other classifications across the board. I believe it's AD1, 2, 3, and private. I think that's today, if I remember correctly. So Soccer's in Session Playoff Edition Live. That'll kick back in at noon Eastern on Monday, and we'll get you ready for the quarterfinals Monday and Tuesday, then the semifinals Thursday and Friday, before the 2 weeks from now, it'll be the championships from McEachern, from Mercer, and from Duluth. Okay, so that is the show. Thanks for dropping by, as you always do. It was great to catch up with Kareem Tamimi. Well, David, I got things, because I can't be here and then I can't be there at the same time. So it's like I've got to pack up early and drive from one end of the planet to the other to go be at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. I got things, man. It'll be fun. Everybody watch. And like I said, we'll see if Jarrett's shoes disintegrate. So thanks to Timo Sheeler, and thanks to Kareem Tamimi from Greuther, Furth, and KSA. Thanks to Greg Garza from our friends at Beyond Goals Mentoring. And thanks to Marty Jelleme, the head coach for Atlanta United's unified team, as their 20-person roster gets ready for the matchup against Nashville SC, coming up after the matchup with Atlanta United and Nashville this weekend. So once again, play it safe, everybody. Mucha plata, y'all. Since it's the end of the show, we got to end the show as we always do on Fridays. So as always, be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. We got to end it this way. Play it safe, mucha plata, y'all. Time for yet another week to go to an end here on SDH AM.
The war was on. The keys on the typewriter had sharp points that kept sticking into our fingers. The dictating equipment started asking us questions, and our beepers sent electric shocks just through our body like a cattle prod. Out in the warehouse, the trucks kept banging into the docks, not even thinking about stopping. Oh, our frail bodies were strapped to the chairs, and our chairs were chained to the desks. Our pleas for justice were ignored, and the end seemed near. But we busted our slave drivers' little bitty balls. We've charged out of their brick fortress, the